Triceratops Unicorn Thunderzord power! Welcome back to another episode of Throwback ThorsDay. This episode we're teleporting back to 1994 with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2 Triceratops Zord, now infused with the power of thunder. The Unicorn Thunderzord, forming the right leg of the Thunder Megazord and the Mega Tigerzord. So, we're going to take a look at the paint applications. There aren't many on it, but there are a bit of them. Take a look at his head. And let me grab this. Makes it a little bit easier to point out these things. Right along the crest, there's some gold paint. And his little blaster he has on there. And I'll go into some stuff with what that's supposed to represent. Go along here, he's got some sticker details. Now this, fun little thing about this, I've had this since I was a young kid. He's fought Goldar many, many times, so his stickers are not in the best of condition. As you can see, he is missing one of his red stickers for his eyes. He has this one on this side, but just not on the other. So as you can see, they're sticker, no sticker. Does have some paint applications that run along the side of the head as well as on the top. And it's got a lot of little molded in detail for its neck detail. Every neck deserves some detail. All necks are important. And he can, do his iconic, I'm using that word a lot for some reason, how he would move in the show. And going to the back, that is where the Red Ranger Zord's leg would slide into. There's a little mechanism. Mine's really, really tough on it. It does not really like to work as good as it used to. So that mechanism unlocks the foot transformation for the lower leg and foot for the Thunder Megazord. Stickers. As you can see, the stickers are, for the most part, are not in that bad condition. Specifically the one that has the Power Ranger lightning bolt on it. So that's not bad for its age. And how many times he's fought in Goldar and some of the monsters from Zeo and Turbo, because that's about all the monsters I had growing up. Also, occasionally the evil Beetleborg from Big Bad Beetleborg he'd fight. The stickers do have this coating on the outside, so right there he does have a little bit of that clear coating coming off of the sticker. Functionality, he turns into a foot for the Megazord. I'll show you that in just one moment, but let's finish going over some of the detail. The sticker that they used for the release of the Power Rangers version is slightly different from the one that was released from the Gosei Sentai Dai Ranger. I apologize if I slaughtered that. It's the best I can do. So there are some subtle differences in between. The one thing that is majorly same with them is the stickers on the side. So with that, the history behind it. So a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, my mother's friend came over to our house, and she used to work at a thrift store. And so she got a bunch of stuff from the thrift store, and she was going around to the houses around the neighborhood, and she stopped by because she had a Power Ranger toy for me. At the time, I didn't know exactly, what the Power Ranger toy was until she handed it to me. And at the time, mind, it was in a lot better condition than it is now. Like I said, it fought a lot of monsters over the years and always came out on top. Didn't even need the Megazord to take down him. And then it was, lo and behold, it was the Blue Ranger's Thunderzord. And I never had the Triceratops Zord growing up. So having this was like the closest thing I had to like an original Mighty Morphin Zord. I do have the Micro Machines version of the Triceratops Zord, but and it was funny. When I was a kid, I used to store it inside this spot where the leg would go into. Also, I have a little Blue Ranger. I could not find it. I was going to show it for the review, but I cannot recall where I placed it. But I used to put him in there too. So this was like his base. Because I'd flip this up, and it would be like a little transport for the smaller Triceratops Zord and for him to hang out in. I had quite the imagination as a child. That's pretty much the history of how I got him. Had it since, I want to say it might have been around like 1996, 1997 when I received this. And yes, just in case you were wondering, he did have the other sticker for the eye. So that's the history behind that. Then a little fun fact. Prior to being used as the Zord commanded by Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger, the Unicorn Thunderzord was known as the mythical Ki-Bi Star Tenma in Gosei Sentai Dairanger. In the Super Sentai series, it's controlled by Tenma Ranger and is meant to resemble a Pegasus, which is why he's got the stickers that look like wings on that. And for years, I never really knew what that was supposed to be, but they are supposed to represent wings, and thus, the little gun on his head is supposed to be the horn, which is, reminiscent of the unicorn, but also the Pegasus. So, just in case if any of you are wondering that, now you know, and if you don't know, now you know, to quote Biggie Smalls. Okay, so now we're going to go into the transformation of his functionality of the Megazord, and we will show you that in 3, 2, 1. As you can see, there's a little mechanism in here, and it's probably hard to see on the camera, but right here, there's a little button on the side. Traditionally, that's where you would slide in the Thunder Red Ranger Zord in. His leg would activate that little button, and it would pretty much act, if you're familiar with the G1 Power Masters, it's almost the same kind of thing. It presses in, it releases the mechanism for this foot to pretty much unlock and slide forward. So as you can see, there's the foot in better detail. Don't mind the battle damage on him. The Zord's been through a lot. It's got a lot of mileage on him, but his oil's changed frequently. And yes, he does roll. So he can do like a rolling thunder kick. So he rolls in his Zord mode, I guess you could say. I'll display that in just one moment. But yeah, that's pretty much that's his foot mode. And again, he forms the right leg of both the Thunder Megazord and the Mega Tiger Zord. If you don't know what the Tiger Megazord is, it's pretty much Thunder Megazord, but the main component is Tommy's Tigerzord. So yeah, that's his. Yeah, he can kick. Little fun thing with this. When I was a kid, I used this as also like a base mode for the little Blue Ranger I had. And you know, you had to use your imagination for a lot of stuff. And he does roll. Though it's a little squeaky, but he rolls nonetheless. So this toy originally came with a mini Blue Ranger and a mini Power Crystal. Neither of them I own, unfortunately. For this was kind of second, third, fourth hand figure. The fun thing with this also, there's a lot of fun things with this figure. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of people may not be too aware of. The release of this version of the Die Ranger had slightly different stickers and had a mini Die Ranger instead of the mini Blue Ranger. Now the mini Rangers that came with the Thunderzords were actually all different painted versions of the Red Ranger. So if you have that, never really noticed to look at that, take a look at it. You'll be shocked. You'll be like, I never noticed this when I was a kid. And believe me, there's a lot of people probably didn't really think about looking at the small little things on that. But yeah, they're all just different colored versions of the Red Ranger. In March 2018, an artisan version was actually released using the original molds of these figures. Major difference was all the stickers. So all the stickers that you see on these were actually replaced with paint. So they kind of went a little bit with the detail heightness on those artisan versions. So all paint applications, all stickers were all replaced with paint applications, which I think is pretty cool that they did that. But that wasn't the only time. 2015, San Diego Comic-Con, Bandai America announced the release of the Legacy version, which, if you've seen those are spectacular. I know a couple people who have them, and they just look beautiful. The Legacy version of the Thunderzords, higher quality, the metal chain for the sword, and the articulation that the previous versions lacked. Most notably, the neck of the Red Thunder Dragon Zord had a ton of articulation to it that the artisan one didn't, which because it was based off of the mold of the originals, and of course the original didn't have a lot of articulation in the neck. So it was cool that they added the extra articulation to it. They went the full 9, 10, 20 yards to just make such an improvement on such classic figures. The other thing with this figure is there are some companies that do make replacement stickers. So if you have this figure and yours is looking kind of like mine and you want to change the stickers off and replace them, you totally can. I know a long time ago, and I don't know if they still do because I haven't checked, which I should have, Toy Hacks. Because I know they do a bunch of different sticker sheets for different figures. So, I'd say take a look on there. I most certainly will. Although, I'm just going to leave it how it is. I mean, it's missing an eye, but that's okay with me because that was my fault. And, well, to me, it looks good. Now, is it pretty? Yeah, pretty, depending on your definition of pretty. I mean, it takes me back to my childhood, and I kind of don't want to change it up. I think I'll just leave it how it is. In case you're wondering, the power crystal would plug in right here. Right in this spot right here. Also, the base of the miniature ranger could also plug into that spot too. So you could either have the crystal plugged in, or you could have the ranger plugged in. And you kind of seen that with the scenes from Die Ranger when the Zords are coming in. For, well, obvious reasons in the Saban footage, they took them out because obviously it's like, wait, who are those Rangers? Those aren't the Power Rangers that's standing on top of their Zords. So it's a little fun fact that I've been spewing out a lot of fun facts because there's a lot of fun facts with these figures. Just crazy stuff with like the original footage that they filmed for the Super Sentai series. All the models they used different models for close-up shots, far away shots, and how they did the basis of using those models, the concepts of the models, and making them into the limbs for the suits that the actors wore. So back in the day, they didn't have all the cool, crazy CGI. They had the cool, like, costumes that you see people at Comic-Con and all these other, like, conventions where they recreate those costumes, and you see the Megazords walking around. Like, it's cool. So there's a lot of stuff behind the original Power Ranger stuff and going into Super Sentai, which predates the Power Rangers. And there's so much to it. I mean, I could go off on this all night. But I'd say, if you're curious on looking into some of the stuff with the Power Rangers, feel free to look into them. The Zords. It's just, this is my childhood. And that's why I love doing this Throwback Thunder ThorsDay, because a lot of the figures that I've done, I've had for years. Boba Fett, this is kind of off topic. I've only had Boba Fett for a couple years. But everything else that I've done, I've had since I was a kid. Especially this. This is the oldest figure that I've done. That was one that I had growing up. Because like I said, I got this in fall of 1996 from my mother's friend. So, it's very precious to me. It's very nostalgic. That's all I got to say about it. So, tell me your thoughts about what you think of this in the comment section. I'd love to see all the comments that you guys put. Do you own this figure? Is it one that you had? Tell me tell me some of your Power Ranger memories. I'd love to hear them. And consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please consider, liking the video. Of course, again, I'd love to see your comments. And, share this to some of the Power Ranger groups on Facebook and just all over the place. Ranger Nation. I'm all about the Ranger Nation. Been with it since as far back as I could remember. So thank you very much for watching, and may the power protect you.